Live. All right. Welcome everybody. MasterSpas Facebook Live, 4 o'clock. We're just hopping on here. Some on my glasses. All right. Someone, first person to pop on, can you give us a sound check, please? That would be amazing. All right. Nobody on yet. Beautiful. The rain finally stopped here.
For a day.
For a day. I think the weekend's supposed to be nice. Mother's Day's gonna be really nice.
Yeah, but not Saturday.
All right. Who do we got on there? Sound okay? We're doing all right? Wait a few minutes and let people pop on. Beautiful. Sound is good. Who's our babysitter today? Kayla, is that you? Sound is good. New Wi-Fi seems to be working.
Yeah.
We'll see if that continues. Today we're talking all about water changes. Hot tubs, swim spas. We can even add cold tubs. Hey Leslie, how are you? 5 people popping on. Beautiful, beautiful. Chris, how are you? All right. Kathy, how are you? Now we're getting everyone on there. Kayla, how's the weather in Fort Wayne? It rained here like insane for days. Sump pumps on. When you go into Home Depot, you know it's bad when you walk in the door and they have a pile of sump pumps for sale. Oh. That's how you know the weather's bad. All right. All right. 6, 7. Wish the rain would go away. Chris, where are you at? Melissa, how are you? All right. I was over the rain. I mean, I did some grass seed, so it's actually the grass is popping really, really quickly because of it. So I'm fine with that, but I hate it. It's depressing. Tennessee, yeah, yep. I'm ready for.
Yeah,
I'm ready for.
Tennessee's had some pretty good.
Yeah, they have. All right. So we'll wait another second. Rain and clouds have finally subsided for a bit here. Currently sunny and in the 70s. It's about
nice.
What it is here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was yesterday. It was brutal. Kirk. All right. I tried to call Kirk before, then we missed each other. So whenever I need to brush up on anything, I always call my man Kirk. Mama, how are you? All right.
You should tell Kirk about the strip.
I'm going to tell everyone.
Yeah.
So we had a very interesting, to kick this off, we can start now. Good to see all of you. So geographically, every water is different. And that will come into play with today's live because, as you know, when the water turns south, it's time to change it. Some people wait till that to happen. Some people do it ahead of schedule. We're all a little bit different. So we had a recent, very interesting phenomenon here. We've been using the drop kit that comes with the cold tubs for our 7.2, which is over there. It's a 2025 7.2, and as well as this 2025 Challenger.
Mostly just because we ran out of test strips.
We ran out of test strips, exactly. And then it was fine. It was perfect, and we've been using it for actually, I don't know, a couple months.
Yeah.
Couple months. In the last 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks, our pH is coming up like crazy every day, and we're tamping it down, with pH down, and then it's coming right back up with no bather load. So nothing is going, no one used any of the stuff. And 1 day or 2 days later, the pH is crazy again. We were really sort of getting curious what was going on with that. And so we ordered, what kind of test strips do we get?
The Aqua Test
AquaCheck.
7.
AquaCheck 7s. They're
I just ordered it on Amazon.
they're great. And is MasterSpas in Springfield, Heather? Springfield where? There's lots of Springfields. So Springfield.
Well, MasterSpas headquarters is in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
True.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there a Springfield, Indiana?
I don't know.
There's a Springfield, Massachusetts, which is close to here, and a Springfield, Missouri, and probably a couple others.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we got these test strips, and we did the drop test, and it came up at 8.2 for the pH, and we did the AquaCheck, 7 parameter test strips, and came up at 6.8. What the heck?
Super weird.
Very weird. So really crazy, and we were, wondering what the heck. So I think we're going to go with the test strips, but what's interesting is that right near where we're at, a mile, maybe a mile away, they've been doing construction. It's probably a mile.
Yeah.
It's got to be a mile, at least a mile.
If you go through the parking lot?
Yeah. Call it a mile.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Mile and a half, maybe 3/4. I think it's a mile.
Yeah.
They've added huge apartment buildings, townhouse condos, commercial buildings, all from the same water source as us. So I was starting to suspect that something happened to our water source because water can change. The water source can change. Towns can do different things, different treatments. That stuff is possible, and they don't notify anyone. They just change it. They do their thing. So it is totally reasonable for that water source to behave a little differently as a result of either a municipality changing something or a major construction like that. Wouldn't surprise me if it had some effect on the water, because their demand on the existing water system has to be massive. In fact, those of you who've seen Summer Gilliam come on here, that's my daughter. She actually got one of those apartments. They're beautiful.
I thought you were talking about the construction right on industrial.
Well, there too.
Yeah.
I mean, but mainly that the water demand would be from the big, development. Anyway, so we're going to go with the test strips, and we adjusted there, and then we'll monitor for a few days and see and check it out. But it was perplexing, and our drop kit, which is supposed to be awesome, and I'm sure Kirk is going to text me that they work more, better, more accurately for cold water than hot, but it's all we had, and it was working fine. So really interesting. Hey, Netherlands, awesome, very cool.
Hello.
Yes, good to see you. So it was really neat, and now we're going to go with the test strips and monitor it. And the water never turned, never flipped, never got crazy because we were on top of it. But God only knows what we were doing by pushing it down, down, down. Maybe we were making that water acidic. So really interesting. Anyway, so if you think that you're having a hard time with water that no one else is, oh man, it absolutely can be a struggle and weird, no matter where you are, and even no matter how good you are.
Just so that you know, we were having trouble with the pH,
Yep.
and it was getting a little bit cloudy, and we were having people come here to see it. So we just drained it and refilled it, and it was very simple.
We did one unscheduled water change, and it took us with our big pump 31 minutes, start to finish. It was
was refilling it too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was with one hose. We could have doubled up and cut that way down. All right. So Kathy said, what do we do if the pH is a little low and the alkaline shows a little high on the test? So you adjust alkalinity first, always, and then address the pH, and then let them settle down. And if they're a little bit, don't fight for perfection on there. Within range, you're fine. We all tend to overthink this and shoot for really accurate things. And then the other thing that all of us are guilty of, if the water turns cloudy and we adjust things and then it's correct and the water chemistry is perfect, we expect that water to clear up in 5 minutes.
Right.
And I wish it would for all of us, but it doesn't. It takes a day, sometimes 2 days for that to clear up. So even though you've done everything correctly, it's still off-putting because of how long it takes, and it takes long enough where you need to monitor that water each day until it's corrected, because as you know, when the alkalinity and pH either way real fast, it eats it up. If your pH is crazy, it eats through the chlorine, and you just have to monitor it continually until it corrects. All right, so I'm getting texts from everybody. Everybody knows we're doing okay. All right, Mary, if you had your phone, I would tell you to tell everyone to shush. Anyway, so very interesting topic. All right. So Kathy, alkalinity first, then pH. Let it happen. It'll be fine, and then run it. All right. Let me make sure we don't have any other questions as we're going here. Kenny, we're going back to Kona next week, actually. Ozonator talk. My mother. Will your last video be put on YouTube? I missed it on Facebook. Kirk, yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. All right. Kenny, I don't even test much anymore. You know what? We really don't either. We just have been because it's been acting so strange. It was really strange watching the test, the drop kit just come up with crazy pH numbers. And
Well,
we
and
know what we're doing.
We had tested it because it had started to get like a little bit hazy.
Yeah.
And we hadn't been home, so we had gotten back and we checked the water and it wasn't super clear. So that's why we started testing it, and it was super strange how it was acting.
Very strange. Because we couldn't come up with a reason, Kirk, that's why I called. We couldn't come up with a reason that would cause the pH to rise with no one even in the tub. So it was interesting. Let's see, Deneen, I am getting rust. What are your thoughts? Typically rust is going to be above, if I'm guessing you have a swim spot and, well, it could be a hot tub, and you're going to be above, you're talking about above the water line and below the cover. That is typically going to be from chlorinating and closing the cover too quickly. You want to let that off gas. Or if you keep your chlorine levels crazy high, I've seen that happen. I've seen people use trichlor and cause that because it's just way too potent. So those are typically the reasons we see that. And as soon as you just wait the 15-20 minutes after chlorinating, you'll see that stuff go away, and you can scrub that off with a toothbrush. Don't use your toothbrush, use one that you're done with. Someone's going to do it. For the same reason we have to put a no diving sign on the swim spas, okay? There's someone that's going to do it. All right, Lisa, DC. Oh, I was thinking that stood for something other than Washington. DC here. What's the best sump pump to drain? Oh, Lisa, any doesn't matter. It's super low demand on them. I bought mine, the one for here off of Amazon. It's probably a no-name brand.
You recommend something about the size.
1.5 inches. So if you're especially on a swim spot, do an 1.5 inch discharge hose on that. If it's a garden hose on a swim spot, it takes a month.
Yeah.
Okay, or like hours and hours and hours.
Well,
Whereas
we've done it. Remember we did it. It took all night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes forever and it doesn't have to be really any more horsepower. It just needs a 1.5 inch discharge hose, so which they make and is super easy. All right. The dog's toothbrush. There you go. Oh, poor Captain. I can't use this toothy brush. All right, Sean, what's up, dude? All right, swim spa. Yep, yeah. Get an 1.5 inch discharge. So like 0.5 horsepower, 3/4 horsepower. It's all you need. 2/3. Get one from Home Depot, 1.5 inches. It's got a roll-up hose. Fantastic. All right. About how long the hose, Lisa? How long will it take? Depends on the swim spa. So I mean, I feel like ours empties in an hour and a half with that. Michael, Superstars, Eco Pure versus salt for that process. Oh, I mean, Mike, the new salt system is...
But the salt is not available on swim spas yet.
No, I'm assuming he's talking about hot tubs.
Yeah.
Knowing that. So, anyway. So, salt, I'm 100% on board with our new salt system, and specifically ours over all the rest that are out there.
Yeah.
It's so awesome. And when it comes out for swim spas, the only reason it's not out for swim spas, we've talked about this, but to go back to it, is because it's a different one. It's obviously larger capacity compared to a hot tub. So, and it's just not hot tubs first, then swim spas next. Get the hose as long as you need for where you want to empty the water. Mine is 100 feet. I will tell you, it's a pain in the butt to roll it up.
Yeah.
I do use the collapsible. Sean, when are you guys coming back for a visit? I have no idea. Our schedule is ever changing.
Where are they?
It's crazy. All right, so hang on a second. Sean, although I do use the collapsible hose, it works fine, but we don't really use it that much. It's not like we're taking it to shows, it's just for here. So at home. All right, questions popping in now. All right. Okay. Lisa, I had a bunch of surgeries this week in the last 3 weeks, so my brain is not fully functioning yet, so DC should be obvious to me. I love it there, and I don't know why it wasn't. I had like it was an acronym for something else in my brain and couldn't turn the path. All right, so let's see. Okay, they're flying in now. For hot tubs, the quick drain for spas works great. The large diameter siphon drain hose drains my balance aid very quickly, no power needed, and much cheaper than a pump. Sure, whatever turns you on. For a swim spa, you want a pump.
Yeah,
I will tell you that.
It takes probably almost...
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah,
So.
we've done it.
Okay. So we're talking about when to change your water. So some people wait for the water to flip. What do I mean by flip or turn or just be crappy? And what I mean by that is if you're adjusting your water and one day later it's cloudy and it's just the water's shot. So you just can't keep it. It's eating up chlorine. It's old, or if you like let it get skunked a few times and you brought it back to life, and it's just not going to last that long. When you have those things going on, it's time to water change. Some people will do it on schedule and their water is perfect, and they will, like in a swim spa, for example, the official recommendation is, my head's right, blocking Mary. The official recommendation is twice a year on a swim spa. I definitely do mine once, and I always do it like October, November before the winter. Obviously, you guys know we live in Connecticut, and doing anything with a foot of snow on the ground is a pain in the ass, so I always do it ahead of time before we get there and just makes it easy. But I get a year out of the water easy, and the water typically looks fine when I change it. So hot tubs can be twice a year. I have plenty of people who do it once a year. Some people need to do it 3-4 times a year. So it depends on your use.
Yeah.
Okay. But for me, I like to do it sump pump. And a lot of times if I'm too lazy to bring the sump pump to my house from here, I will just do a siphon on the swim spa at home and just close the cover and walk away, and I won't check it for 24 hours, and won't even look at it for the day. I'll just, if we're busy, I may do that and just walk away. If I don't have an hour and a half to sit there with the pump, I'll do the siphon and just walk away. Now, in my house, I have well water that's terrible, so I'll have the pool company bring the water in there, and it fills the swim spa in
Right. 5 minutes.
It's 5
maybe 10
minutes. It's 5 minutes, and the water's perfect. It's a home run, and it's just fantastic. It's warm. It's warm in here.
Yeah, here we have very high pressure.
Yeah, the pressure's
water.
crazy.
The pressure is very high. So if we put one hose in, it probably takes an hour or an hour and a half to fill it. Longer
with
than
one
that?
hose, yeah. We
With
always
one,
do 2.
That's right. We usually do 2.
So it took to fill a hot tub with our water pressure here on full, one regular, garden hose like 5/8 it's not some crazy 1-inch diameter hose, but our water pressure is immense. To fill a hot tub, a 7-footer, took 20 minutes, 20 minutes to fill. A swim spa, we would do 2 hoses, would probably be an hour and a half with 2 of our hoses, maybe hour and 45. It's fast for how much water it is. So it works great. And then the big 1.5-inch discharge pump, it doesn't take us long to drain everything out. Like one day we went through and we drained the 7.2, both cold tubs and the swim spa just in a row, and then started filling them up. And just by the time we were done, it was like right to start filling. It was perfect. Like just changed all 4 tubs in, within a couple of hours. It was really easy. So, okay, let's see. Let me catch up. Kenny, do you foresee retrofits for older swim spas to salt? Yes.
100%.
100%. We have to. All of our previous customers will send hate mail every day and, attempted murder if they ever see any of us. So yes, absolutely, 100%. It is awesome. The new system is freaking amazing. Let's see. Questions. If you live in a suburban neighborhood, where do you drain your swim spa water to, yard or street? Jill, some people, if you drain it into the street, someone could have an issue with that. Not that it's going to hurt anything. It's not. It's just water. It's not even gray water. It's just water. So there's no problem doing that. But if it offends someone and they decide to call someone, they might harass you. I always just do it in the yard. It's not nearly as much water as we think compared to a good rain. Is so much more water than a swim spa in the yard. Don't overthink it. Put it back in the corner of the yard. Set it, forget it. You might have a puddle there for an hour, depending on what your terrain looks like. Mine soaks right into the ground, and there might be like a 3 or 4 foot puddle when it's done, and it's gone. So it's gone in a hurry.
Your chlorine levels are so low
yeah, you're not
that
hurting
it's
anything.
Not gonna hurt
It's drinking
your
water.
grass or your plants or anything like that.
Lisa said, if you're using 2 hoses, where do you put each of them? So you're asking if I'm putting them in the filter holes, I'm assuming. So what I do, I don't do that. The little handle? The little handle right there? I take a zip tie, because our pressure is so high that I'll take a zip tie and I'll put the two hoses through that, and then I zip tie them together. Otherwise, you know, the hose is doing this and it's crazy and will soak the whole place. Don't get us started on that story from this year. I guess that was that was this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm losing my mind. All right. So that's what I do. Works great. I don't put them in there, and I've never had an issue with the airlock. Just, I don't care. And I'm not afraid to fix an airlock anyway. So I realized that. Let's see. Have you done a video of the benefits of salt water? I'm not sure why it is better. Did we do a video on that?
We did.
We did.
Yeah, we did a video announcing that the hot tubs now, that certain hot tubs now have the capability to be ordered with the salt system.
Yep. The Twilights and the Legends can be ordered with it as of right now.
Yeah.
So the next phase of that project is going to be retrofitting hot tubs, and then the third phase of that is going to be retrofitting swim spas, as well as new builds of swim spas. So yes, it is absolutely coming.
But in that video, which was maybe 2 months ago,
We probably didn't go into the system very much, which we can hit that real quick. This is going to turn into a saltwater live. That's what's going to happen here, which I'm thrilled with. I love the system. It's awesome. So in a nutshell,
we did talk a bit about it though.
let's talk about it again.
Yeah.
So Kaylee, the difference is this. A salt system is going to monitor all the sanitizer in the tub. It doesn't monitor pH. Finger wag, does not monitor pH. Okay, once a week you have to check your pH, especially in the beginning because it tends to rise as that water is adjusting to the salt. So for roughly, call it 2 months. Okay, so you have to monitor pH with the salt system once a week. You're checking that. And then from there, it's going to monitor the sanitizing situation, the chlorine production. Okay, and if you had to think of it this way, if there's two jobs to monitor, the biggest job of monitoring in a swim spa or hot tub is going to be the chlorine. And if that's taking care of that, the smallest part is going to be the pH. Okay, so it's just that simple. So you still have to use a test strip for the pH. It's real easy. Once a week and adjust that, and you're typically going to be pushing that down. That's what we found, and it does tend to lock in at the 2 month mark. It's not to say that every single water source is going to be the same, but that's what we found pretty much a lot. How's that? So no absolutes here. I got to keep Kirk happy. So then from there, the main difference is that our system is running 1,200 parts per million, which is very low. Human tier is 9,000 parts per million salt. The ocean is 35,000 parts per million salt. Most salt pools or hot tubs that are running salt are going to be a minimum of 1,750 to 2,000 starting, and then up to 3,000, 4,000 parts per million. And up in those ranges, you have issues where you can start having corrosion. Okay, so, and there's another reason for the corrosion as well. So, and this is where ours is different from everything. It's proprietary. It's all licensed. It's us. No one else can have it. No one else can make it. So what it does is, not only are we running 1,200 parts per million, which is super, super low, it's the lowest in this entire industry, then from there, our system is a smart cell. So it's monitoring the water and produces sanitizer when it needs it, not on a schedule, which every other system does. So most systems, all but ours, are gonna do, call it 2 hours, 3 hours in the morning of producing chlorine from salt, and then 2-3 hours in the evening, whatever it's set at, that's how much it's going to produce, whether you need it or not. And that's where it's a problem, okay? So now the seals in the pumps are better, the heaters are better, the metals that they're made of are more resilient. So between all those facts and our lowest, super freaking low parts per million salt content, and the fact that it's a smart system, it checks the water, and if it needs it, it produces it, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. So you're not overproducing. And then in addition to that, lastly, our salt is actually different. We have refined every, like 99.999+% of all the minerals are extracted from that pure salt that you can get anywhere. It's not that pure, okay? Ours is even more pure, and it must be purchased from us, and it's worth it. And that is the reason the system works so well, and we're producing hyperchlorous, much more higher percentage of hyperchlorous as opposed to hyperchlorite, which is bleach essentially. Okay, so that's why the system, all those components are why it works so well, and it's so different from everyone else's. It is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It is phenomenal. It's a huge turn on for us. I realize I'm turning into a salt dork. Sorry, but it is awesome. It's so impressive. The engineering department killed it in the amount of work that went into testing. Basically every unit on the market we tested and discarded, and just came up with this situation. One particular vendor had it. Now it's all licensed by Master, and it's fantastic. It's so awesome. So we're super, as you can tell, we're super enthusiastic and excited about it. I hope I didn't go too deep or not deep enough. I hope that was perfect. All right, let's see what we have for questions here. Okay, my mother asked about ozone. So no matter what you have, if you have ozone, if you have the UV system, you have to do maintenance on there. My mother happens to have the Master Pure UV as well as ozone. So recently she noticed that it was requiring a little more chlorine, and I'm just sitting there like, I don't think about it. You know, I'm thinking about a million things, and I'm sitting there going, geez, you know what? I'll bet you if her ozone and UV system need a replacement, that would absolutely cause her to need more sanitizing, more chlorine. So that's what we're gonna schedule that. And then she obviously, when salt becomes available, I don't even have to ask her. I know that she wants that. So that's coming too for mom. But yes, we are gonna do some maintenance, and make sure you do the maintenance on your ozone or UV, your scheduled maintenance on there. So look in your owner's manual and see what the recommended time is.
Because it just for reference, like if you're taking care of your hot tub and one thing always worked, it always worked this way, it was, you've had it for a long time, you've been doing the same thing, and then all of a sudden it's not working, it may be that you need a new ozonator.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that would cause you to use more chlorine. Ozone does work at minimizing chlorine use. All right. So, Lisa, our pressure is not high. Should we put one hose in the filter and the other out? Never dealt with airlock, first water change. Lisa, absolutely. Yeah, if you're more comfortable putting it in the filter opening, go ahead. Absolutely do it. I'm a moron and I don't care. And if I get an airlock, I don't care. I have fixed airlocks before, never here on the swim spa. I've dealt with it before. It's not a big deal. People like freak out about it. It's not. You just have to open the little screw and let the water out, let the air out, and it's like burping a baby. And when you burp them, they're happier. Same. Okay, on certain tubs, you can use actually a plunger on the filter opening, and it burps it out manually like that, and works fantastic. It's a great trick. All right, but yeah, absolutely, put it in the filter opening. I don't always say do what I do. And when I do something that I know is probably not the best advice, I will always say, if that happens to me, I'm capable of fixing it, and I don't care. We're honest with you guys to a fault. All right. Does soft tread have issues with salt? It doesn't, because your chlorine content is going to be exactly the same. And don't forget, Kenny, that stuff came from the boating industry, which, as you know, deals with some salt. All right. Is there a trade-in offer if upgrading to a new swim spa salt when it comes out? Chris, that would be a dealer situation. I have no idea.
But you will be able to add it.
Yeah, you'll be able to retrofit
your
it. So
current
I
swim
can't
spa.
imagine that it would make more sense
Right.
to get a whole new one as opposed to adding it. I can't imagine that would make sense. So, all right. All right, what do we got? I think we're doing pretty well. Jill, do you suspect the swim spas with the saltwater systems being available sometime in 26 or still a couple years away? Jill, I was told by someone very high in MasterSpas, very high, super duper high, that was a 26 project and 26 was the expectation. All right? So I won't name names.
It's definitely not 25.
Definitely not
Now,
25. It's 26
whether or
projects.
not it will be available in 26 or it's a 26 project is a question, so don't hold us to the fact that it will be available in 2026.
There's the asterisk.
Yeah.
I'm confident because everyone wants it, and there's pressure there. It's a 26 project, and I don't think it's going to take all that long because the hardest part of the work is done. It's really just making a larger version of what we already have. So I'm feeling confident that it will be available at some point in 2026. Again, you can't hold that, you don't get anything if I'm wrong. All right? So, but we want it too. Like, I want it personally, so I'm with everyone here who wants it. All right. And obviously my mother wants it. All right. How often should the Ozone be serviced? What is that? Is it 18 months? What's the proper answer on that?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I thought it was 3 years.
No, I don't think so. I think it's like 18
Some of
months.
them,
Some
it's
of them.
different.
So check in your manual, your owner's
Yeah.
manual, it'll be in there. And they could even be different on different things, but I want to say I have 18 months popping in my head. Okay? And don't hold me to that, but if you want to send a message in, you can definitely tag us on the top of the message for Ben or Mary, or just ask the question and they'll answer it right there. But customer service will know that for your exact model and then get that taken care of. But we do recommend servicing all that stuff. Oop. Also, key point, since we're talking ozone and salt, when you switch over to the salt system, the ozone goes away, you unplug it. Okay, so if you have ozone, which all of you should, when the salt goes in there and that system takes over, you actually disconnect the ozone. Both are, it's not dangerous in any way, which someone had said to us, it's not dangerous anyway, it's just they fight each other and it's inefficient. So that's why you get rid of that. So once the salt comes out and you're using the salt, you're actually done maintaining ozone systems. All right, Kenny, good point. I'm assuming you're talking about the salt boats. That was pointed out. The very same question was, I don't, it was Mary or myself asked the very same question and that was the answer. So we knew that one easy. And we were like, oh, that does make sense. All right, Chris, thanks, you're welcome. Michael Wright, what's up, Holmes? Wonder who that could be. Mike, I'm not saying. But we all answer to him, I can tell you that. All right. We are hoping to purchase in spring 26. I'll just keep my eye out. Jill, I mean, it's going to be something that can be added, so I wouldn't worry about it. If you're ready to go, go. But if you're 2026 spring anyway, but don't put it off for that. It's coming, and you'll be able to add it. Question about draining and refilling. Do you clean the tub before refilling, and if so, with what? So I really don't, unless there's something, on there. I wouldn't really get crazy on there, but I love, and Mary knows what's coming, the Windex with vinegar is fantastic for cleaning all things. It's just awesome. So I would always use that for cleaning if you feel it's necessary. Maybe you're just cleaning above the water line.
And sometimes just like, you get like, I'm looking at the swim style, you get like water spots.
Yeah, like around the top
and
of
it just that with like
shines it up. It's awesome.
Towel, just paper towel, it just works so well.
And I also would get that stuff for your own homes. It is awesome.
It doesn't smell
And
bad.
I was just going to say, I hate vinegar. And that stuff does not offend me at all. The smell is not overwhelming. It's just a nice little touch of vinegar. It's the best cleaning product I've ever used, except for some like hardcore crazy cleaning stuff that for specific reasons. Any word on when some pictures or info will be available on the 19D single body of water, Jill?
Probably.
Yes. I would bet you'll see a picture very soon. There could even be one in the phone that this is being filmed from.
But not the specs or anything. I think probably within the next month.
Yep. So as far as specs go, it's going to be the exact same size as the previous 19 dual temp.
Which I don't think that would be in like the legacy part of the swim spas. It's not on the website anymore.
I understand, but I'm sure that can be found. It's the exact same size, the same cover, all that stuff. So that's all right there, Jill. It is like hot on coming off the press very, very shortly, but I'll bet you'll see pictures start to surface anytime, because once the pictures go out to the insiders, someone's going to slip and they're going to send it to someone they shouldn't, and then it goes So the pictures do exist. I can't release it, but the picture exists. It's awesome. So picture this. If you remember, the 18 had the propulsion housing on it. It's thin wall like a 15 is, like this one. You know, the ends are thin. It's like that. So it's 19 feet of actual water. It's huge. It is amazing.
It looks exactly like the Trainer 15, except it's 19 feet.
Right.
So it's just longer in the middle.
Nakia, why should all of us have the ozone thing? If you have a product that was purchased in the last 20 years, you have ozone in there.
Yeah.
If you've never serviced it, it doesn't work. If it's older than 2 years, 3 years, it's not working. So you may not have it, but you should have it if it's a MasterSpas product from the last 20 years. Mike Wright is crying. We were advised by the dealer that it wasn't needed or recommended. Ozone? Nakia, are you sure? Nakia, what?
Are you sure you're not talking about UV?
Are you might be talking about UV.
Yeah.
Ozone is standard. So I don't think you could get rid of ozone even if you tried on a MasterSpas product. And I know you have a MasterSpas product. I just can't remember which one. We've seen you on here, but you have ozone. All right. Love when you guys just hammer the questions. Hammer us. Hammer us. Nice. Can't wait to see it. Jill, it's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
It's huge. The water body is massive. I think it is going to disrupt the entire industry. That's what I think.
Well, between that and the 21.
I know, and the 21 is
crazy.
they're crazy. The updates for 25 are spectacular. All right. So the pumps aren't located where the pros are. Kenny, so now all challengers and trainers, the pumps are on the propulsion end, the swim end. So basically the 18 Pro, the Challenger 18 Pro, now the 19 Max Challenger is the same. They're all like that. So
all of the challengers are pros now.
Right. Yeah. Basically, all the challengers are pros now with the pumps on the other end. All right. Jill said, "That's what I was hoping for because the 18 never seemed like much more space than the 15." Totally agree. This one is legit and freaking badass. Yeah. Sounds like the 19 might be more of the upcharge. It's not going to be crazy. We've already started selling them, so it's not crazy over the 15. I mean, obviously it's more. It's bigger, quite a bit bigger, but it's not crazy. So, but obviously more. Nakia, yes, you definitely have customer service here every 12 months. Ozone service.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Tim Beal, great job, guys. Tim, love you. Nakia 18D, yep, very cool. Yeah, you definitely have ozone. Steve, sorry I missed the new model name. The 19 Max, I'm thinking you're talking about. Thanks. Tom, what's up, dude? All right. Okay. We'll check our manual. Coming up with 12 months. They just said, how do we service the ozone? Need to have a dealer service it. You probably don't need to have the dealer do it if you're handy. If you're not, definitely have the dealer do it. It's not terribly difficult. So, pretty easy, Lisa. Couple of screws, hose.
It'll probably be in the manual on how to do that also.
All right. Jill said, sorry, meant to say more, worth the upcharge. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Jill, I don't have room in my house because my deck was existing, and we'll be back out there. We're going to make some changes over at the Gilliam residence. So, Jim, you derailed me. Idiot. Jim, I'm in the middle of explaining something and I read down and Jim wrote sexy glasses, Ben. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that. So Jill, yeah, I didn't really have room. My deck was existing and it's huge. It's so awesome. When the first live, when we're in a 19 Max, you will all know about it because we'll be screaming. It's freaking crazy. And the 21 they're crazy. The 15, this is crazy. The seat that Mary's sitting in, my favorite. Absolutely amazing. All right. Jill, will there be any 19 Max trainer or just Challenger? There will be a trainer and a Challenger.
There will be a trainer shallow
Yep.
So there will be a trainer that's 51 inches high. There's going to be the Deep, the 19 Max D, and the Challenger 19.
It's 440. I love when you guys hammer us with
Yeah.
questions. That's good. Greg Tonis, what's up, dude? So, all right. Susan said, hang on, let me hit this, see more. I will be changing my water soon, a bit funky, and we did change it last year too. What chemicals do I need offhand? I know I've got my manual, but figured I'd ask. I've got the Trainer Swim Spa. So you need a sequestering agent. You need pH, possibly up or down, depending on your water. You need chlorine. You need some shock on hand. That's it. Rock and roll. Piece of cake. So also my surgeries, you can see real close. They're done. There's lots of stitches there. They're healing up beautifully. And I did the last one. Actually, you can see how swollen that hand is. Look at that. That was yesterday. Surgeries are done. We're on the mend. Everything is beautiful. I scheduled all this 3 weeks in a row like a jackass. I will never do that again, and hopefully don't have to ever do that again. But everything is cool. So appreciate you guys putting up with my black eyes and swollen heads and bandages and all that stuff for the last few weeks. That's it. So I think that's it. 441. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I love when they just hammer us. I love when you guys just hammer us.
Well, I feel like it's so much
awesome.
more relevant when it's your
Absolutely,
questions
yeah, when it's you
rather
guys,
than
yeah,
us
absolutely.
like trying to think of what's important to tell you.
I want, you know what, before we go, phosphates. I can't believe none of you asked us about phosphates in changing the water. I can't believe it. Shame on every one of you. Finger wag. Okay? So hang on, Kevin. I'll get to that question in a second. Phosphates. We get this question all the time in the owners group. I took my water to a pool store and they said the phosphates were high. So there is phosphate reducer. It sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't. Some water comes out of the tap, crazy high phosphates, and there's nothing you can do about it.
That's just geographical.
That's geographical, okay? So don't spend too much time worrying about the phosphates because you may not be able to do anything about it anyway. People struggle with it, trying to get them out, and it doesn't always work. Sometimes the phosphates are grown in there, and basically phosphates are fuel for growing algae, okay? And when they become crazy high, the water's not that great for you. In low levels, it's not harmful at all. So I don't really worry about it too much, but phosphates can be, in CYA, same thing, a little different situation with that, the cyanuric acid. You can dump half the water and top it off, but again, I don't even test for it. So is that the recommended answer? I will tell you what I do. I don't test for it. I worry about the chlorine. I change the water once a year at my house. This one gets changed more than that just because we have different use here. We keep the water temperature always high and all that. So this one ends up being changed probably twice a year. We have a new swim spa, so obviously that got changed off schedule. Okay, so phosphates. If you know you're developing them and they get high, change it. If you know that it comes out of your tap, there's nothing you can do about it. Don't worry about it. Okay, CYA. Same thing, you want to make sure that you're using shock and getting rid of that stuff as much as you can, okay? And that shocking, non-chlorine shock does that. It oxidizes and gets the crap out, okay? So make sure you're doing that enough. After filling the spa and adding all the proper chemicals, how long after would be safe to get in? Kev, as soon as those levels read right, you're safe. Hop in. I mean, most people are so chomping at the bit, especially on a new fill. They're like, I added a little chlorine, I'm getting in. That's it, go. You're not gonna get hurt. You're getting in bath water, okay? So especially when it's new, just adjust it, do what you're supposed to do correctly. I'm never afraid to get in that water. Rock and roll. If you're filling it out of your tap, you're getting in the same water that you bathe in. Okay, think about it that way. If that water's been sitting in that swim spot for 2 weeks because you didn't buy chemicals, that's a different situation. Don't get in that water. Okay. All right. Let's see. A couple questions pop in. What about CYA? Yes, got that. I'll make sure you are using your shock plenty. What about water hardness? You definitely want to keep an eye on that water hardness, keep it around that 250 mark because it will basically draw the hardness out of the plastic and your plastic will turn crappy. Low pH kills the plastic and tops of things, and so does that. So you want to keep an eye on that water hardness. The new test strips, the AquaCheck 7s that we got have everything. CYA, hardness, everything.
But not phosphates.
But not phosphates. They're pretty badass.
Yeah.
Okay, Froggy's okay to use as long as it's the smart chlor. No, smart, is that what it is called? Smart chlor? Yeah.
The chlorine one.
Yeah,
not
the chlorine one, not the bromine one. Okay, 4:45. Now we gotta go.
Yep.
Love you.
We will be back in 2 weeks. I think it's the 21st of May. We will see everybody then.
Awesome. Awesome job, you guys. Love the questions. And we run out of time when it's like that. It's so much fun when you guys are like that. So keep them coming. We love you. All right. If you have more questions, send it in and we'll answer it. The black edges of my soft tread is starting to dissolve. Is that normal or are my chemicals off? Doug, probably pH being low. You know how I know? Because that happened to mine because I wasn't monitoring it properly. Damien, miss you, buddy. All right. We're signing off. You guys are great. Love you. Be good.
Have a good night.
Someone's going to pop a question right as I'm hitting finish and I'm stuck. Love you guys. Be good.